If a nuclear attack happened tomorrow, would your bunker actually save you? It's a question more people are asking than ever before. In the past year, news headlines have been filled with rising global tensions, missile tests, and world leaders trading threats. The result? A surge in bunker sales across the globe. From Silicon Valley billionaires to ordinary families, people are digging in, hoping to buy themselves a sense of security. But what's really driving this underground movement? It's not just the fear of war, but the uncertainty of what comes next. Social media is flooded with images of luxury bunkers, complete with home theaters and hydroponic gardens. Companies promise peace of mind for a price, and YouTube is packed with survival guides. Yet, behind the glossy ads, a deeper anxiety lingers. Will these bunkers actually work when it matters most? Here's the truth. Not all bunkers are created equal. Some are little more than glorified storm shelters, while others are high-tech fortresses. The difference between safety and disaster could come down to a single overlooked detail. As the world feels like it's edging closer to midnight, the rush to build and buy bunkers is a reflection of our collective fear and a test of what we're willing to do to survive. Surviving a nuclear attack isn't just about hiding underground. It is about understanding the science of what you are up against. The real threats come in 4 waves: the initial blast, the searing heat, the invisible radiation, and the deadly fallout that lingers long after. Each of these dangers requires a different kind of protection, and a true survival bunker must be engineered to handle them all. The blast is the first and most obvious threat. It creates a shockwave powerful enough to flatten buildings for miles. Hollywood shows bunkers as indestructible, but in reality, only those built deep and reinforced with thick concrete can withstand that pressure. A backyard storm cellar simply won't cut it. Next comes the heat, a flash so intense it can ignite fires and cause severe burns from a distance. Real bunkers need heat-resistant doors and sealed entryways to keep the inferno at bay. It's not just about being underground, it's about being sealed off from the outside world. Then there's radiation, the silent killer. Gamma rays and neutrons can penetrate most materials, so a bunker's walls must be thick, dense, and lined with lead or earth to absorb the energy. Air filtration systems are essential to keep radioactive particles out. Finally, there's fallout, the radioactive dust that settles after the blast. This is where most shelters fail. Without proper airlocks and decontamination zones, fallout can seep in and turn a safe haven into a death trap. In the end, survival isn't about luck or luxury. It's about engineering and preparation. In the world of nuclear survival, myths can be as deadly as the bombs themselves. One of the most common and dangerous beliefs is that any basement will keep you safe. The reality is far harsher. During the Cold War, families in cities like Hiroshima and Nagasaki sought shelter in basements, only to discover that thin walls and shallow depth offered little protection. A true nuclear bunker must be deep and reinforced. A standard basement is often just a false sense of security. Another fatal myth is that survival is simply about stockpiling food and water. While supplies are essential, they're only part of the equation. In Chernobyl, many who survived the initial disaster later fell ill because their shelters lacked proper air filtration and decontamination procedures. Without a way to keep radioactive dust out, even the best-stocked bunker can become a trap. Clean air and safe water are just as important as canned goods. Perhaps the most persistent myth is that radiation disappears in a matter of hours. In reality, fallout can remain deadly for days or even weeks. The 7-10 rule of nuclear fallout, where radiation drops by a factor of 10 every 7 hours, means patience is a survival skill. Believing the wrong advice could be fatal. The only way to survive is to separate fact from fiction and prepare for the threats that don't go away when the sirens stop. So what does it take to build a real survival bunker? It's about more than just digging a hole. Every detail matters. First is location. Experts agree that the best bunkers are built away from major cities and military targets, ideally in stable soil and at least several feet below the surface. A minimum of 3 feet of packed earth or concrete above the ceiling is recommended, but deeper is always safer. Air filtration is the next essential. A bunker must be airtight, with a high-quality filtration system capable of removing radioactive particles. Manual air pumps and backup filters are a must, since power can fail. Without clean air, even the strongest walls are useless. Water is life. A true survival bunker needs a secure, uncontaminated water source, either a deep well or stored water tanks. Storing enough for every person is non-negotiable. Waste management is just as important. Composting toilets and sealed waste containers prevent disease and keep the bunker livable. Supplies go beyond food and water. Stock up on medical kits, radiation detectors, batteries, and tools. Don't forget comfort items, books, games, or music, to help maintain morale. Communication is often overlooked but can be a lifeline. A battery-powered or hand-crank radio keeps you connected to the outside world. Contrast this with DIY shortcuts, like using a backyard shed or a shallow pit. They may seem cheap, but they rarely offer real protection. In the end, a bunker is only as strong as its weakest system. Investing in the right design and materials is the difference between a safe haven and a fatal trap. Life inside a bunker during a crisis is nothing like the movies. The initial relief of safety quickly gives way to new challenges, psychological stress, boredom, and the constant uncertainty of what's happening above. Days blur together in the dim light, and every sound from outside can trigger anxiety. Rationing becomes a daily reality. Meals are planned with precision, and every drop of water is measured. Supplies that once seemed abundant now feel precious. Communication is a lifeline. Even a brief radio update can break the tension and restore hope. But when the outside world goes silent, isolation sets in. The difference between calm and panic often comes down to routine. Establishing daily schedules for meals, cleaning, and exercise helps maintain a sense of normalcy. In a confined space, unity is survival. Arguments and fear can spread faster than any threat outside, so clear roles and open conversations are essential. Contrast this with panic and isolation. When routines break down, tempers flare and morale collapses. People who withdraw or lose hope become a risk to themselves and others. Survival is as much mental as it is physical. The strongest bunkers are built not just of concrete and steel, but of trust, discipline, and the will to endure together. Deciding when to leave the safety of a bunker is the most dangerous choice you'll face. The world outside may look calm, but looks can kill. Radiation is invisible, odorless, and deadly long after the initial blast. History is filled with tragic examples. After Chernobyl and Fukushima, many survivors who left their shelters too soon suffered severe radiation sickness, even when the sky was clear. Experts agree, never trust appearances. The only way to know it's safe is to test for radiation. Use a reliable Geiger counter or dosimeter to measure levels at the entrance and in the surrounding area. Remember the 7-10 rule? Radiation drops significantly over time, but it can still be lethal for days. If you don't have a detector, wait as long as possible, at least 48 to 72 hours, before even considering leaving. Check official broadcasts for evacuation orders. If communication is down, rely on your instruments and your plan. Never leave alone. Always go in pairs and wear protective clothing to minimize exposure. Remember, the deadliest mistake is impatience. Many who survived the initial attack lost their lives because they underestimated the lingering danger. The world outside may look safe, but only science, not hope, can tell you when it's truly time to emerge. The best advice comes from those who've lived it. Survivors of nuclear disasters and long-term sheltering offer hard-won lessons that go beyond any manual. In Hiroshima, some families survived because they found shelter in reinforced concrete buildings and stayed put for days, resisting the urge to leave too soon. After Chernobyl, those who sealed windows and relied on trusted information fared far better than those who panicked. One common thread is that preparation and discipline save lives. Survivors often credit their routines for keeping spirits up and minds focused. Many wish they'd brought more water, batteries, and ways to pass the time. Some regret not learning basic first aid or how to use a Geiger counter before disaster struck. The failures are just as instructive. In Fukushima, a lack of communication led to confusion and risk. People who ignored official warnings or left shelters too early suffered the most. The lesson is clear. Listen to experts, trust your plan, and never underestimate the mental challenge of waiting. In the end, survival is about more than walls and supplies. It's about learning from those who faced the unthinkable and endured. Thank you for watching. If you found this information valuable, please hit that like button and subscribe for more content that helps you prepare for the unexpected. Stay safe out there.